screen printing, trophies, and more. Drop by their store on Main Street in downtown Arkadelphia or visit their website at printmaniatees.com to see how they can help your business or group. Need a shirt for an event? Let Printmania take care of that. Need promotional materials for your business or organization? You can let Printmania take care of that too. A family-run local business in Arkadelphia, Printmania has been serving the public since 1992. Call Printmania today, 870-246-3803.
Everyone's known for something. Ours is simple. At the Southwest Auto Collection and iDriveSWA.com, you get the absolute lowest price on America's best brands. Ford, Lincoln, Chevy, GMC, Buick, and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The best selection and the lowest prices guaranteed. And we deliver anywhere in the state, plus tires for life. It really is that simple. Visit us today, the Southwest Auto Collection, I-30 Exit 78 in Arkadelphia, or online at iDriveSWA.com.
We're back to Malvern for the beginning of the second inning. Arkadelphia picked up a run on a Carter Babb leadoff triple and then a sacrifice from Trip Campbell out to shallow center field that scored him from third, and that was the way the first inning played out. Arkadelphia goes into the field, and Trip Campbell sets him down not 1-2-3, 1-2-3-4. He fanned three of the four and sprinkled a base on balls and a stolen base in there in between, but left the runner at second. And so we go to the second inning, and it will look like this: Witten, Hooten, and Hill for Arkadelphia. Donovan Witten picking things up. He's hitting 381, 435 on base, 16 hits. One of the league leaders in hits and 7 extra base hits. And Big D has certainly found out how to use that big body with a baseball bat. Last year you had a little trouble getting that big body and that bat to get into sync. Now he's starting to pick it up on it. And that was going to be smoked right up the middle. Second baseman to his left. He makes a good throw. He pulls him off the bag. He makes a great catch to his right behind the second base bag. He was shading that way just a little bit anyway. And he comes up and makes a throw that's wide of the first base mark. So it's going to be I would say probably an infield hit. That was going to be a bang-bang play either way. So we'll give him a hit, and that is another leadoff base runner for Arkadelphia. Houston Hooten now is over at first base on defense, and he'll bat in the 6-hole today. Pops it up on the infield. It's going to be a can of corn for the shortstop, and what looked like we've got a little bit of a breeze, not much, but a little bit that's blowing out towards maybe left center field, and it's not enough to cause a lot of grief. It looked a little uncomfortable making that, but nonetheless there's one down and a runner at first. Zane Hill now for Arkadelphia. He's in right field defensively, batting .244 on the year. Throw back over to first base is not in time. Witten in head first. Tell you what, between the size of Donovan Witten and the size of the first baseman over there, Hunter Robinson, they look like a pretty good tag team over there if a wrestling match were to break out. Those are two big old boys at first base. No balls and a strike to Hill. A little bit of a lead over there, and that ball sails up over Hill's head. Witten thinks about going to second and thinks twice, gives it about a couple of steps, and then retreats back to first base. A ball and a strike to the Arkadelphia right fielder, Zane Hill. Casterson is on deck for the Badgers. Hill swing and a miss, falling away from that swing a little bit. I think he really thought that ball was going to come inside more, and it did not. It stayed out over the plate, and he had to cast and missed it. A ball and 2 strikes now for Hill. Witten held on at first. There is an inside pitch that catches enough of the black, and the inside corner is going to be very liberal today, and the home plate umpire has proven it with not only that pitch to Hill, but a couple with thrown by Trip Campbell as well.
At the plate for Arkadelphia, the left fielder, number 8, Daniel Casterson.
Casterson's got 11 RBIs. That's one of the leaders on the team. We'll see if he can get Witten around here with 2 outs in the second. Pitch is high from right to start the AB. Casterson is the everyday left fielder. He's made every start this year in left field in conference play. Off and running, and there is a hit and run as Casterson just barely gets it fouled on the right side, and back will come Witten to first. 1-1 count now to Daniel Casterson. Casterson hitting .231. He does have 5 extra base hits. Started out the year on fire. First couple of games, he just couldn't get him. He just couldn't get out. There's a shot to the second baseman. That should be an easy play. He bobbles it. He comes up with it and makes the throw, and it is in time. Just barely. Bobbles it a couple of times, but he's able to come up with it, and that's Ben Rock. And so the inning is done. Arkadelphia leaves one stranded on one hit, and that's the way the top of the first will go. 1-0. Arkadelphia leading it. We'll be back here to Malvern, Leopard Yard, in 30 seconds.
Somewhere in the bottom half of the second inning for Arkadelphia.
While you may not be a pediatric surgeon volunteering your topiary talents at a children's hospital, your life is just as unique. Your Raymond James financial advisor gets to know you, your passions, and the way you give back, so you can live your life. That's life well planned.
Back to Malvern we come, back to the Leopard Yard, the newly renovated Leopard Yard. Looks great. The Arkadelphia Lady Badgers right next door playing the Lady Leopards. We'll try to keep you updated on some scores there as well. Trip Campbell back out on the mound, the big Arkadelphia senior left-hander, out for his second inning of work. Near perfect in the first inning. 3 strikeouts out of 4 batters. Did mix a 4-pitch walk in there, but other than that, he has been flawless, and so we'll see if Tripp can continue his dominance here as he'll face the 5, 6, 7 hitters. That's Evan Stewart, Hunter Robinson, and Patrick Doss. Stewart, another right-handed hitter. He'll bat in the 5 hole. He's the center fielder. Arkadelphia in normal depth. First pitch right down Broadway. Gives him a pitch to hit. And Stewart didn't want to take a stab at it, so he's quickly behind 0-1. Campbell, the delivery, that inside pitch. He's wanting that inside pitch. He got it before. Malvern pitcher Wright got it before. He did not get it that time. The count goes even at 1-1. Swing and a miss. That one went right by him, a fastball. 385 is in the batter's eye in dead straightaway center. 335 in the gaps. 310 down the lines, and it is definitely a hitter's park, a pull hitter. It is a pull hitter's park, and there is a ball that is hit foul out of play. A ball and 2 strikes now to Evan Stewart. You can see the trees out just beyond the outfield fence. The new green foliage out there moving just so slightly. No shadows yet on the field. Sun still high in the sky. 80 degrees here in Malvern. It is a short sleeve, beautiful day for baseball. Swing and a miss. It gets away from the catcher. He's going to come up, make the strong throw over to first base, and it is handled nicely by Houston Hooten for the first out. So 5 batters, 4 strikeouts for Trip Campbell, and he is rolling once again. Hunter Robinson now, another righty. He's a first baseman. He'll come up with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Badgers leading it 1-0. Here's the pitch. It's offered at. He's going to get an appeal down to first, and he did go. So the young catcher asking for an appeal for the second time and is rewarded a second time with a strike call from field umpire. No balls, 1 strike now to the big right-handed first baseman. There's a shot that's going to go right up the middle, and it's going to get through for a base hit. So the first base hit on the board for Malvern is Hunter Robinson, and it's a single to center. Patrick Doss now, the right fielder. He'll come up, or excuse me, the left fielder. He'll come up. His first at bat. Thin-statured young man batting from the right side. Over at first, Evan Stewart getting a small lead. The ball's going to get away from Cooper Stevenson. He keeps it in front of him. Nice play there by Stevenson. Ball gets down in a hurry as that curveball from Campbell is very likely to come in there from 12 to 6 o'clock, and he keeps that ball in front of him, and that keeps the runner from going to second base. Nice job there by the young Cooper Stevenson behind the plate. A ball and one strike is the count. One down, one on, bottom of the second inning. From the stretch, here's the pitch, and it's a good one. Curve ball comes right in there where that sweet spot is, right on the inside lower half of the plate, and it's called for strike two. Not paying a lot of attention to the runner. Comes in, there's a swing and a strikeout, or excuse me, a swing and a miss. That's only the second strike. One of those last two strikes had to have been a foul ball because it looked, the count was 1-2, so it's still 1-2. That one had to have been tipped. Here's the 1-2, and it is strike three. Looking is the call, and 5 strikeouts is the call, and a little chagrin from the home field faithful here. Jake Heathcott now, he's the designated hitter. 8 out of 8 from the right side against the lefty Campbell. 2 outs now, still that leadoff, or excuse me, that 1-out single from Hunter Robinson. He's over at first. Swing and a miss, strike one to Heathcott. A little bit more of a lead over at first. Pitch is a little low. Heathcott lays off, a ball and a strike. Heathcott, a little thicker in stature than some of these other Malvern hitters. Got the dark locks hanging out from under that black Malvern helmet. A ball and a strike to throw over to first base. That's the first one of the inning. Not a lot of attention paid over to that first base runner with the left-hander coming set. He's looking right at him. He's not going to get much of a lead. Comes to the plate. There's a swing and a miss. Throw behind the runner over there from Stevenson is not in time, but it is a 2-strike count against a ball with 2 outs here to Jake Heathcott. Guarding the line over at third base is K.D. Young. Holding on the runner at first base is Houston Hooten. Badgers at normal and even depth in the outfield. The 1-2. Pitch swung on and missed. Well, there's been 6 outs recorded, and all 6 have been strikeouts for Trip Campbell. So we go to the top of the third, and we are working through this Friday afternoon edition here very quickly. We'll be back. You're listening to Badger Baseball on Arkadelphia BadgerTV.com.
While you may not be a pediatric surgeon volunteering your topiary talents at a children's hospital, your life is just as unique. Your Raymond James financial advisor gets to know you, your passions, and the way you give back, so you can live your life. That's life well planned.
We're back to Malvern. Joining me right now, my partner in crime, as normal, this year in baseball, the producer with all the right moves, Chris Babb. Hello, Chris. How are you this afternoon?
Doing all right. Beautiful, beautiful day at the ballpark, and we'll try to check out that softball score as well as we get going.
Man,
I'll stick my head out real quick and do that. I should have done that between innings.
All right. So while he's here, we if you joined our broadcast the other night from Magnolia, we try to do I'm a trivia buff, so I like to do a little bit of trivia, especially about the towns that we're in. And Chris was successful. So in a diet, Dr. Pepper and a hot dog, he guessed Roy Green was the player that is from Magnolia, went to Henderson State. He played most of his career for the Cardinals in the NFL, but finished with the Eagles. And we're going to come back with some more trivia. I need to get my money back on that hot dog and that Dr. Pepper, so we'll see if we can do it. But in the meantime, we're going back to baseball, and Casey Pye going to get things started here. He's going to hit one out into left field on the first pitch. The left fielder almost came in a little too far. Had to give a little bit of hop out there to get it done, and he's going to be the first out of the inning. So we go back to Babb, and talking about starting off the game with a bang, a triple to right center field for Carter. He's already back up, and he takes inside, but it is enough of the black for strike one. Carter gave a little bit of shimmy with his hips back, but it was enough across the plate for the umpire to call him down. Here's the 0-1 pitch, right, pitching from the stretch now. Strike two is on the outside. And Carter kind of gives a look like, wait a minute, this plate is only 17 inches, and that's about a 24-inch strike zone there. Is it inside or outside? One of them is not a strike. 0-2 to Carter. And he says, okay, I'll fix that and just drive it right back up the middle for a base hit. Two on his many at-bats for Carter. This time not quite as many bags, but it is a leadoff single for the second time in the game for leadoff hitter Carter Babb. And he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. And KD Young back up for his second time of the day. KD walked. That put runners on the corners for Arkadelphia. KD was stranded after Carter scored on that sacrifice hit from Trip Campbell. So here we go. Top of the third, things starting off as they did in the top of the first. Carter Babb at first now. He's off and running on the pitch, and the throw is going to hit him right in the back as he slides into second base. Nice jump there by Carter, and he beats the throw. He actually meets the throw. It got him right in the back.
Side.
Got him in the side, yeah.
No, back side, I think.
Got him in the back side, yeah. I started to say it.
I
don't think it got him between the two and the two. I think it got him between the lower two and the two.
There you go.
There you go.
He doesn't have a lot of meat back there, like his daddy.
He doesn't. No, well, I don't know about all that, but most of these boys have got a couple of little butter beans back there, and that's about it. There's a long, and that is a foul ball. KD hit that one almost to the 310 mark, and it was just a bit shy of being a fair ball. May not have been a Subway. It might have been that hot dog, Chris, but it wasn't really much past the line. A couple of bare spots down that left field line where the grass is not quite filled in yet, so it's a little hard to see, but that was a nice hit by KD, just a little bit too much of it. 2 balls and a strike now. KD got the hot corner call today at Arkadelphia, and that's a little bit of an unorthodox move back to second by the pitcher. It is not a balk, so it goes back into his set position. Here's the 2-1. Swung on, and it is hit to third. There was a hit and run on. Babb is going to get there. That is just in time. Bang, bang play. That was extremely close. Hit and run was on. Carter was easily into third base. So now we've got a runner at third base. 2 outs now, but the big stick up, and that is Trip Campbell.
Well, that's a great shot across the diamond from Weaver. He had got his body behind it, and he had to get every ounce of that because KD got down the line pretty quickly.
He absolutely did. 5-3 the put out, and another ball hit out into center field. This time there's too many outs on the board for it to be a sacrifice, and Babb is stranded this time at third base instead of getting in, but Badgers make a little bit of barking but no biting here in the top of the third. As we go to the bottom of the third, still hanging on, 1-0 Arkadelphia. We'll be back with Badger baseball in 30 seconds.
Hello, I'm Taylor King. I've been practicing law for over 34 years, but long before that, I learned what it takes to be a good lawyer, caring for others. You could say it's a family trait, and it's one I've passed along to my kids. If you've been involved in an accident, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK. I want to help.
We want to help, to be on your side, by your side. I'm Austin King. Now, I've not been practicing law quite as long as my dad, but thanks to him, I know what it takes to be a good lawyer. I guess you could say it runs in the family.
All right, we're back to Malvern. We're going to have a little trivia. Now, we got some Malvern folks in here, so you Malvern folks, don't shout out any answers because we got some good stuff on the line. We got hot dogs, Diet Dr. Peppers on the line here, so don't mess this up for me. Here's the first trivia question, and it's posed to our producer extraordinaire, Chris Babb. Chris Babb, Malvern, Arkansas. Frank Bonner, born in Little Rock but raised in Malvern, starred in the 70s and 80s sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati. What was his name on the show?
Oh, man, I thought you were going to ask me something about the turkey drop or something like that. No.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Lonnie Anderson, man. I mean, we're talking WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I saw that on Nick at Night back when I
He always drank out of a Razorback coffee mug.
Yeah, he had that white Razorback mug.
There you go. There you go. All right, stay off that phone. We're going to play some baseball.
Right.
We'll be back in just a few minutes to see what the answer is. And in the meantime, Ben Rock is going to start things off for Malvern. He is the 9-hole hitter. His first time up, and then we'll be back to the top with Hunter Adams and Dalen Weaver. Starting out, the at-bat is just outside the first pitch from Campbell. Campbell has been not perfect, but near perfect. A walk and a single. Everything else has been a strikeout. Every out that's been recorded through 2 innings has been a strikeout. This is going to change here as there's a bouncing ball to second base. Cobb over to his left. He fields it and across to Hooten for the first out. So the first out that is not a strikeout is a 4-3 put out, and that's Cobb to Hooten. We go back to the top of the lineup now. Hunter Adams, he struck out swinging to start the game. The first of many strikeouts so far in this young game. And the right-handed catcher steps in. Here's the pitch. Down, just low. It seems anything that Campbell is missing on today is just a little bit low and a little bit outside. He's trying to get the Malvern hitters to fish. He's got it a couple of times. This time, that sweeping curve comes back inside, and that is strike one.
You know, I know we're right behind the camera, right behind the plate, and I know the camera's not zoomed in, but if you can see that break on that breaking ball from here, it's just crazy. We got to get back. He swung.
That's a swing.
Wait a minute.
That's a swinging. Ball came in. It was an inside breaking pitch. It hit him, but he did swing the bat. So we're not really sure what's going on there. And Coach Lowe shaking his head. He's going to go out and say, "Hey, look, man,
appeal.
He swung the bat. It wasn't a partial swing. He swung himself into the dirt, and in the process was hit by the pitch to no avail. He's going to stay there at first base. Matter of fact, we're going to have a pinch runner over at first."
Yeah, courtesy runner for Malvern.
And that's Cedric Cook. He's the courtesy runner over at first base. Adams, the catcher, he'll get that courtesy. So he'll be hit by a pitch in the books. And with one out, there is a runner aboard, and it's a courtesy runner over at first base, getting a small lead. Now going back, there's a swing and a miss. That was a sweeping, looked like more of a slider that came inside. It wasn't an off-speed pitch. It was had a little more velocity, but that tailing inside on the right-handed hitter, he comes up empty. There's that off-speed pitch. That thing bends in there just nicely.
You can just kind of give up on that if you're a right-handed batter. It looks like there's no way that's going to break down into the zone, and it does. Just break right in there to the catcher's glove.
We'll see if the runner is off and going here. It's an 0-2 count on the batter, and he is not, and it is strike 3. So a couple of outs here on the board as Weaver goes down for the second time in as many bats swinging.
Blake, softball behind us 2-0 Malvern at the end of the first. Arkadelphia at Malvern, top of the conference, one of the top teams in the state in Class 4A. And Arkadelphia kept them pretty close at home. I think it was close for a while. I think Malvern ended up winning 7-1, but 2-0 at the end of the first behind us.
And we'll try to keep, man. There's a ball that gets away. Stevenson has a hard time finding it. It's under his feet, but he can't see it, and the runner's going to get down to second base. And that's just bad luck for Arkadelphia. A couple outs now and a runner in scoring position for the first time for Malvern. Actually, I'm sorry, the second time for Malvern. Golden takes that same pitch that Chris was just talking about, and again, Tyler Golden, a veteran shortstop, it locks him at the knees, and he watches it for strike 1. A ball on the strike, peering at the sign, now coming to the belt. Look back at the runner, swing and a miss, strike 2.
Well, you go back to that. You had a runner on first with 2 outs. Golden's a good hitter. He can put the ball in play, and all you needed is, him to put the ball in play in the wrong spot, and this game's tied 1-1. You just don't have a lot of margin for error, and that's why you got to keep that runner at first, or you can let Tripp try to get another strikeout.
And he does. He swings and misses. Strike 3, and Tyler Golden reached on a base on balls in the first. This time he goes down swinging, and then his strikeout number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 so far through 3 innings. 8 strikeouts out of 9 outs for Arkadelphia. The only non-strikeout was just a dribbler to second base. So go ahead, Chris.
That was good. Is that good? I was asking if 8 out of 9 strikeouts. Not bad.
That's fair. I'd say that's fair to
middle. The thing is, 1-0. You gotta this your 2 errors or 2 bloops from this game being tied, being completely different games. So Arkadelphia offensively kind of has to, snap out of it and get some runners on base.
You're exactly right. A couple of runners have been in scoring position, and that a seeing eye single or a duck snort out into short field scores those runs. And so we've seen Arkadelphia have great pitching before and great pitching from Tripp Campbell in a 1-0 game that Arkadelphia won over at Majestic Park early in the year against Magnolia. So the Badgers need to get these bats going, and we'll see if Cooper Stevenson can get them started for the Badgers. He grounded into a double play back to end the first, and we'll see if he's going to be able to make things right here in the top of the 4th. So, no answer.
WKRP. All right, I remember
WKRP.
I remember two. I remember Les and Herb.
All right.
So I just got to guess right.
You got to guess right.
I'm thinking Les was an older fella.
Okay.
So I'm going with Herb.
Herb is correct, and I don't guess we know a last name. How about it, Malvern faithful? Herb. Who was Herb's last name?
This one's too young. He's
what
younger
was
than
Herb's
me.
last name on WKRP?
This one's younger than me.
He's a Malvern guy. Come on.
We got Allen's the only one in the box.
All right.
And Allen and Blake.
All right.
Yeah, Plumley's too young. Bridget's too young. We're all too young for that.
Okay, so I'm the old guy in the room apparently. Herb Tarlick. Herb Tarlick was his name. Come on. You got to watch.
How did I not have?
You got to know your guys from Arkansas. Come on. All right. I'll give you a swig of Dr. Pepper. Yeah. How's that? Cooper Stevenson now, Arkadelphia.
How did I not have Tarlick on the tip of my tongue?
It's such a common name.
Yeah.
Herb Tarlick, you betcha. He wore some good looking creepy suits, let me tell you. He had that Razorback mug that made it all right. Stevenson starts out with a 2-0 count now, and Wright is behind already against the Arkadelphia catcher. Working a little quicker this time. Tyler comes in. There's a shot that's going to get right by the third baseman. Nice, barreling up, and that ball's going all the way to the 310 line, and Cooper's going to come in to second base, standing up, and for the third time in as many innings, Arkadelphia has a leadoff runner on. We've got a single, we've got a double, and we've got a triple to lead things off.
It was a hard hit.
Arkadelphia.
Sorry, Blake. That was a hard hit ball by Cooper Stevenson. It went off the glove of Weaver. Weaver tried to, he reacted to that. He backhanded it, and it went right off his glove. I don't know if it caught the tip of it. Just didn't quite get over, just like KD was about 3 inches from having an RBI double, Weaver was 3 inches from having a great backhanded play of that line drive. But Arkadelphia does nice hit ball from Cooper Stevens. Now we have a courtesy runner out at second base for the catcher. It's Kelburn Middleton.
And the leader in the team in RBIs is Donovan Witten. He's at the plate right now. The Arkadelphia senior shortstop. He takes strike one, and our scoreboard has just died. Here it comes back. Come back to life. Somebody got the paddles on it. All right, so 0-1 to Witten. There's a turn, and they're going to throw it into center field. And Middleton is going to ease into third base, standing up. So now that makes Witten's job just a little bit easier as another one of those little unorthodox moves to second base by Tyler Wright. And I'm just not – it just looks funny.
It did, but it catches the runners off guard. Middleton was dead to rights. If that's a good throw, he's toast. It almost had Carter in the Babb in the last inning.
The 0-1 pitch sails high and inside to Witten. Now his job a little bit easier, at least 90 feet easier, as Middleton now is parked at third base and nobody out. Arkadelphia got to get this run across here. The 1-1 pitch from Wright is high, ball two. So it's big righty against big righty here for Arkadelphia, and a chance to get things going here again in the top of the fourth inning. Outside, low in the dirt. Nice scoop there by Hunter Adams. Houston Hooten on deck for the Badgers. Kelburn Middleton is at third. He's pinch running. And there's a shot that's going to get over the head of the right fielder. It's going all the way to the 335. In the gap, it's extra bases for Witten. He's rounding second, going into third. If he can stay on his feet, he's in, and he is sliding head first. And not only is it an RBI, but it is an RBI triple for Arkadelphia's leading RBI producer, Donovan Witten.
Yeah, it's a completely different Donovan Witten than you see at the plate last year. Say that because it's the truth, but also he talks about it too. He's just seeing the ball a little bit better, a whole lot better, and he's really been productive at the plate, and Arkadelphia's had to have that this year.
Well, they needed that run. They had to have it, and they got it.
You don't get that run with the leadoff or with the runner at third with nobody out. That's not a good sign, but they did get it.
This is a chance for Houston Hooten to break out of not really a slump, but just kind of a little bit of a sophomore lag, if you will, getting his first starts this year and having a little trouble getting his timing just right, hitting a little under 200. Good chance right here to pick up another RBI. He's got 6 on the year. This one is going to be fouled back for the second time in a row, and he's in the hole 0-2. I'll tell you somebody that has picked up his hitting, and that's Zane Hill. He's on deck. And with no outs, he's going to get an at-bat here in the top of the fourth. Badgers leading it 2-0 over the Leopards. Right to the belt. The pitch to Hooten is low. A ball and 2 strikes. Hooten got to be careful, protect the plate.
Top of the fourth, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
He struck out 13 times. That's leading the team. That's not where he wants to be. He's not going to do it this time. There's a shot out into short right field. Coming in hard is the right fielder, and it's not going to be deep enough to get the run home.
Well, it's not just mental error there for Arkadelphia because, if that ball's on the ground, you're going to score from third anyway. You put your foot on the bag and you can tag up and score.
Well,
it would have been deep enough to try to get it run if the right fielder needs time. He doesn't have his glove, but nobody sees him. There he goes.
Zamir Kauser is the right fielder.
He's tie his shoe.
Going to tie his shoe. He just ran out of his shoe. I'll tell you what, he's got some wheels out there in right field. He's not in the batting lineup today, so we've not seen him hit, but he is fleet of foot out in right field. He made a good play charging in. That was a ball that could have gotten down on a lot of right fielders. Here's Zane. Pitches up and high for ball one. Still with just one out, a great chance for Zane Hill to pick up an RBI here. Not a lot so far, a chance for him to add to his 4 RBIs on the year. That ball is going to go behind his head. And
he's lucky he brought the bat down.
Yeah, he almost got the bat. I was afraid he might have gotten the bat, but he missed it, and so it's 2 balls and no strikes to Hill. Speaking of speed, Hill's got 3 extra base hits on the year, and he can fly once he's on the bases. 326 on base for the year. And an excellent opportunity right here, possibly to lay down a bunt and get that run home, a squeeze. Is that an option? We'll see. No, it's not. It's going to be hit right up the middle. It's an easy RBI for number 23, and he's going to try to take second base. Ball is bobbled out there, and a nice hustling play by Zane Hill. And talking about those wheels, Chris, there they are.
Yeah, he rounded first and decided not to stop, and I don't think Malvern was expecting him to go to second. I don't know if that ball would have been cut, but fortunate for Zane, he gets – I bet that would probably be a single, and that bobble allowed him to get that extra base. But regardless, Arkadelphia does get that third run across, and now with another runner in scoring position.
I see Zane's dad down there. He's replaying that motion out there. I don't know if he wants to take on Zane in a foot race, but
he does not.
I don't think he does either. There's a ball that's going to get through. Kesterson's going to punch one through right under the second baseman's glove. That's going to score Hill easily from second base. He stomps on the plate for the 4th Badger run of the game, and still with 1 out, Kesterson aboard with an RBI single.
Yeah, good first pitch. He just kind of went with it. Found a hole between the, really out of the reach of that right-handed pitcher. He's going to fall off to that third base side of the mound, and Daniel just reached out on that outside pitch and put it just out of the reach of the second baseman.
Casey Pies found his way into the starting lineup and the DH role, and he hit the first pitch last time to the left fielder. We'll see what he does this time at bat. He's going to take ball one just a bit high.
Casey, one of those there's a lot of freshmen on this team, not in the lineup, but a good group of 9th graders. And Casey broke into that, got his first start yesterday at second base, and stays in there at DH right now, today.
Fouls this one off to the right side. He's even now at 1 ball and 1 strike. And Kesterson at first base. Kesterson has stole 3 bases this year. We'll see if Coach Roop has him running over at first. He is going to get a lead. He's held on. Inside pitch to Pye is too far. It's 2 balls and a strike now to the freshman DH. Badgers finally with a crooked number here. It comes in the 4th inning. 3 runs across, 4 total to take a 4-0 lead here in Malvern. Pye going to hit that one. That could be a double play, and it's going to be a tailor-made one. It is the second of the game, and Casey Pye grounds into a tailor-made second. It is a 6-3 double play as it's 6 unassisted to 3 for the double play, and Arkadelphia is gone here in the top of the 4th. But some damage done. Again, a crooked number, 3 in the inning, 4 total in the game. It's 4-0 Arkadelphia as we go to the bottom of the 4th. We'll be back here to Malvern in 30 seconds.
Whether you realize it or not, you see the work of bats and signs all around Arkadelphia. When you see the Badger equipment trailer on the way to a Badger game, Bats and Signs did that. When you're watching the Badgers, Tigers, or Reddies and see the signage that just really makes their facilities pop, Bats and Signs did that too. You see the signage in downtown Arkadelphia, on the campuses of Ouachita and Henderson, or the sign in your neighbor's yard supporting a candidate or their favorite Badger? Yep, Bats and Sign did that too. Longtime residents and supporters of all things Arkadelphia called Mark, Jared, Chris, or Ryan at Bats and Signs today to see what they can do for you.
Back to Malvern, bottom of the 4th inning. Trip Campbell has been a strikeout machine so far here in the game for Arkadelphia. He's got 8 strikeouts out of 9 total outs in the ball game. And Arkadelphia is now ahead 4-0 over the home Leopards as they're trying to even up, and this season round robin as Malvern took one in Arkadelphia early. It was only the second loss in the first half of the round robin for Arkadelphia, the other being to Ashdown. And Arkadelphia going to get a chance to make things right with Ashdown first of next week as they're going to take on the Panthers in Arkadelphia on Tuesday, the 18th.
It's a big game. If you can hold on and win this one, it sets up a big one when you have a chance.
Nice play back to the pitcher, Trip Campbell, and if he were 6 foot tall instead of 6'2", he might not have made that. He had to get every bit of that reach as it was a big old bounding hop. Might have been made by the shortstop if it had gotten by him, but it would have been a tough play.
It was impressive.
Nice one there by Tripp.
It would have been doubly impressive if he had caught the ball with his glove and his cap with his hand.
Well, he gets a chance to catch that cap about every pitch, as it is usually in the dirt. So not only is he gets a workout pitching, but he also gets a calisthenic workout in doing up downs, getting that
That's
hat.
right. How about yesterday, Tripp's birthday? He gets the 2-run homer to right field against Lake Hamilton with mom and dad and grandparents and other family in attendance. That was a really neat moment to see Tripp around that first base bag, come to second, point out at mom and dad in the Jeep out there, and celebrate that home run on his birthday.
That's big stuff. Congratulations to Mr. Campbell, and he is following suit today on the mound with a nice performance. There is just an ugly, ugly strike, a ball and 2 strikes. And when I say ugly, I mean ugly to a batter. That thing had teeth on it as it bit down in for strike 2. Ball and 2 strikes now. Campbell working with an out in the inning. Swing and a miss, and oh my goodness.
He dropped down on that one. We've not seen that. We see every once in a while you see Tripp drop down. Normally he comes over the top. I think that's why his hat falls off. But every once in a while you see him drop down from the little different lower arm angle. Not very often, but he got that one to fool the batter on.
The only hit in the game has been to Hunter as a result of Hunter Robinson's back in the second inning. He's batting again here in the 4th. It was a single to center field. That's been the only hit of the game so far for Malvern. We'll see if Robinson here with 2 outs can keep his streak alive, and it's quickly no balls and a strike.
2 strikes. Yeah.
I believe it's 2 strikes. Yeah, it is 0-2. And so Robinson is further in the hole than I thought. And there's one that same pitch, it didn't have as much snap on it, so it didn't fall down into the strike zone. It stays just a bit high.
Yeah, he stayed up over the top on that one. Tried to get it to break down. Just started out a little bit too high. Didn't quite break enough.
Here's the 1-2 to Robinson. That's right, all around. That one, Chris, didn't necessarily go 12-6. It was more of a 3-9. It came outside, and it was almost had a slider motion on an off-speed pitch.
Somewhere in the bottom half of the 4th inning for the Leopards.
Yeah, that 2 in a row. He's dropped down on that lower arm angle and been able to get just to come in just nasty from that. It's got to look so far outside to a right-handed batter. Like, how's that going to drop back in? But then it does. But then when he starts it out over the plate, it comes in breaking in at their ankles.
10 strikeouts on 12 total outs, and Arkadelphia through 4 has kept it. We're going to keep it right here, 4-0 Arkadelphia as we go to the top of the 5th, and this thing is moving quite along. So if you got plans, if you're listening to the ball game and you got plans tonight, you may be able to get there a little earlier than we thought. Arkadelphia and Malvern zipping right through this Friday afternoon affair here at Leopard Yard. All right, so let's go back to some famous folks, and these are some folks that there were a couple of Malvern Leopard football stars that actually played for runners-up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which is obviously just having a couple of guys from a small town like Malvern to play in the Super Bowl is a big deal. These 2 guys were both Malvern Leopard stars. They were both Arkansas Razorback stars.
One of them play the trumpet?
One of them played a trumpet
All right.
in his football uniform, and he was a behemoth because when I played
He
football.
made that trumpet look like that little, what's the small trumpet, a piccolo?
Yeah, or no, like a kazoo. It
Yeah,
looked like
he
a
makes-
kazoo
yeah.
out there. But anyway, so we know who that is.
That's Isaac Davis.
Isaac Davis, and Isaac Davis played for who?
Isaac Davis. I just went Rams.
Nope. Same state.
Bridget knows that. Oh, he
Good,
played
right
for the
state.
Chiefs.
Nope, right state, wrong team. Carter Babb now, he's going to be up. We'll come back to that conversation in a minute. Carter's been on fire today. He's got a single, he's got a triple, and he's leading off the inning again. The third time in 5 innings, Carter Babb has led off the inning. This time that one gets up in his grill a little bit. And
You got me off because I was thinking trailer with the Broncos, and I just started thinking Broncos, and I lost Isaac Davis completely.
well, and the problem is Trailer did not actually lose a Super Bowl. Trailer won Super Bowls. He actually
With
won
the Broncos?
3. He won 2 with the Broncos, and he actually won 1 with Bridget, the New England Patriots in 2004. Keith Trailer won 3. The other 2 lost 1 each. And that would be Isaac Davis, and that was San Diego Chargers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Chargers. Madre
And
playing a Super Bowl?
went to win. I'm not sure exactly when, but they did play San Diego. The other was obviously Madre Hill.
yeah.
For the Raiders. 3 times up, 3 times on base for number 22. That's your leadoff man, Carter Babb, and he didn't have to put the bat on the ball this time, but he does get on base. That's his job, and he does it well. For the 3rd time out of his many tries today, Carter is on with a leadoff walk this time to start things off here in the 5th. So, Madre Hill,
Yep.
Los Angeles Raiders,
Right.
not the Las Vegas Raiders,
Or the Oakland Raiders.
not the Oakland Raiders, the Los Angeles Raiders. The San Diego Chargers
Chargers, yeah.
was Isaac Davis, and 3-time Super Bowl champion Keith Trailer, 97 and 98 for the Denver Broncos, and 2004 with good old Tom Brady and the New England Patriots.
It's a good thing Brady had him on that team to help him out.
If it hadn't have been for him, Brady
That's right.
probably would not have won that game.
right.
Got a chuckle from our group here in Malvern. They agree. KD Young now, the batter. He's walked and grounded to the third baseman today. Arkadelphia is putting runners on base. Last inning, they made them pay with those runners. We'll see if they can do it again here. Off and running, the hit and run. The ball is late getting there. Again, Babb's got us another stolen bag. That's 2 on the day out of 2 attempts.
Is that 14 or 15 this season? Is that?
That is 15. 13 coming in, 15 on the year. No one else has more than 7. He's doubled up the rest of the next closest stolen base player on the team. And again, that's what leadoff hitters do. He's got that Babb speed. That's what it is.
I was going to say it's not genetics. It's work.
A ball and a strike to KD. There's that
does have
unorthodox
that.
move again.
He does have that move. He's got a read on it, though, because you saw him jumping back to the bag before the pitcher turned around. So he sees something. He's getting ready to go on this. Well, maybe not. That's a good shot.
Nice hit. KD right up the gut. Is that going to score Babb? He's coming around. There is a throw. It's going to be cut off by the first baseman. He's zooming across the infield. He catches that between the second base bag and first. That's going to keep KD to a single, but it is an RBI single, and Arkadelphia leads at 5-0.
Great piece of hitting by KD. Just went right back up the middle. You have the runner in scoring position. Just a good piece of hitting to put something in the outfield. Now you like to see Tripp bust out of it here. Had that big home run last night against Lake Hamilton on his birthday. See if he can follow up one here with a base hit.
Couple of rips into center field. The first one was a sacrifice RBI for him. It brought Babb around after that leadoff triple in the first, and then with 2 outs, he hit another one out there back in the third. We'll see with no outs now if he can get KD around the bags here with something deep
was a great
in the fifth.
Great block right there on that low pitch in the the right-handed batter's box, kind of bounces. A great job of coming out of the crouch and making a stop, keeping KD at first.
Yeah, Hunter Adams does not let anything get to the backstop for Malvern, and that's a plus here at this ballpark because there's a nice rip, and he's going to hit that one out into right field, and it's hit sharply enough that KD barely got to second base.
Yeah, that was a hard hit ball.
That was just a scorched ball out there to Zamir Kauser, and he got the ball in quickly, but already it is a single, and it's 2 singles here to start things off, and that's going to draw some attention from the Malvern bullpen.
It's going to be it. It's the second trip. Coach Knight gives some words of encouragement. Dylan Rogers going to courtesy run for Trip Campbell. It's like DeVito and Schwarzenegger over there, twins.
Boy, it does.
Yeah, Dylan, one of those freshmen, a speedy runner, smart baseball player. And he's going to be there on first and KD on second when we have a new pitcher, which is going to be the first baseman.
Yeah, it looks like the first baseman is going to be rolling over to take. That's Hunter Robinson. He's a big right-hander. And looks like he and Wright are just going to trade spots. Kyler's going to go over to first base, so it's big first baseman for big tall pitcher. Both of those pretty good size in stature, and it looks like Robinson a little bit more meat on his frame there than Wright. Wright a little more slender. He's maybe a couple inches taller. He's going to trade gloves and take his position over there at first base. So Arkadelphia now with a couple of runners on with nobody out here in the fifth, threatening to add to one already across here and a 5-0 lead over the Malvern Leopards. As we talked about before, Arkadelphia will be at home on Tuesday. They'll get a chance to make things right and split the series with Ashdown, the only other team that beat Arkadelphia other than these Malvern Leopards in the first half of the round robin was Ashdown. And right now, Ashdown in a two-way tie with Nashville at the top of the conference. A lot of stuff going on tonight. Ashdown playing at Camden Fairview. That ought to be a good game. Camden Fairview a tough out, and Nashville playing against Magnolia. And Magnolia was the team that really whooped the Badgers earlier this week, 14-4, in a run rule contest down in Magnolia. And Arkadelphia not used to that, and that was just a night that things went right for the Panthers and not so much for Arkadelphia.
They really did. You're up, I believe it was 4-1 or 4-2. You have 2 walks to start off an inning, a bunt, a swinging bunt. They score 4 or 5 runs. Ball gets out of the infield once, just kind of went their way, and then everything fell apart. Ashdown up 6-3 over Camden Fairview in the bottom of the 4th. That is in Camden.
That is correct. And those, like I said, those Panthers will be in Arkadelphia on Tuesday. Nashville going to get Hope on Tuesday. Magnolia will be at Camden Fairview. That ought to be a tough one on Tuesday. DeQueen and Malvern will face off on Tuesday. Nashville, like I said, Nashville and Hope on Tuesday. So a lot of shaking and a lot of moving and shaking going on at the top of the 7-4A. And we were talking before the game here with the Malvern administration, and they were saying, playing in this 7-4A is kind of like playing in the SEC West in baseball.
Yeah.
And it is a tough conference, and anybody can beat anybody.
Top of the 5th in Magnolia, Nashville 7, Magnolia 1.
Oh, wow.
Magnolia, they'd had 5 or 6 straight games where they scored double digits. Don't know who's pitching for Nashville. Imagine if Magnolia has one, it may be Cason Willard. But, baseball's a funny game. One night, a top 10 team in Division I beats an OVC school 21-5, and then they turn around the next night and lose 11-3.
Yeah, I was listening on the way over, and the University of Texas lost to Texas State 2 out of 3 games.
Yeah.
And is Texas State the Bobcats or the Armadillos?
They're the Bobcats. Now, they almost hosted a regional last year. I think a lot of people thought they should have hosted a regional, but yeah, it's just a funny game, and you got to be in there and be ready to take advantage of it when the ball goes your way.
Well, Cooper Stevenson has a double play to his credit and a double to left to his credit. So he is 1 for 2 on the day, and we'll see if the young Arkadelphia catcher can keep his hot streak going alive. He's 4-17 coming in. He's just been taking full advantage of his time as a new Badger on the field. First pitch is swung on and missed. That's a high inside pitch that got a little giddy up on it from the new pitcher, Hunter Robinson, and got it in Cooper's eyes, and it was too big for him to lay off of. Looks like a beach ball when it's coming up that high. Here's one that's going to be outside, and he goes the other direction and gets a called strike two. And a couple of whistles from the peanut gallery below us, and Arkadelphia with a good showing here today. Malvern as well. It's full ballpark here.
That's a tough one for Cooper right there.
Yeah, it really is. That's tough, especially after that first one in the eyes. Here's the 0-2, swung on and missed. And I'll tell you this, he's going to get his money's worth with those swings. He doesn't leave anything. He doesn't – maybe with 0-2 you might want to shorten up just a little bit, but he did not. And so 3 pitches, 3 swings, and 1 out. And Stevenson down on strikes here in the – top of the we're in the
top of the 5th.
We're in the top of the 5th. That's correct.
You know, this field, you know, there's a lot of room out there in that right center field gap. That's where Donovan went last time. Now he gets a little cue ball.
Good play.
And that's 1 out, and a great play there in the infield by Malvern to get the lead runner at second base, Dylan Rogers, and he's a quick little cat, and he got down there in a hurry, but the Malvern infield is able to get the lead runner. That's going to be a fielder's choice on base for Witten, and that puts runners at the corners with 2 outs for Houston Hooten.
That's a great play. You know, you just come off the mound. You're in your second at bat, going from the pitcher's mound to first base. That ball is going to have funny spin coming off it, spinning like a cue ball sometime. But he did a nice job of going with the momentum, making a nice throw over to second to force out Dylan Rogers.
Ball is outside and played nicely there by the catcher. Hunter Adams. And I can't say enough about Adams. He's just done a great job keeping the ball in front of him now with the new pitcher. And the new pitcher just buried that one in the dirt, Robinson, and he comes up with it and keeps the runner. Here goes, there's a hit and run, and it's hit right down the first baseline. That is a perfectly placed hit by Houston Hooten. It'll score 1. It'll score 2. Hooten rounding second. He'll go into third. Into high gear. The ball is rolling around in foul territory, and 2 RBIs for the young Houston Hooten getting his start today at first base.
Tremendous. He needed that. When you talked about it, it was good to see Houston back in the lineup. He got around on that one, and that one hugged that first base bag right. Couldn't get over in time, and it was just over that bag, went right down in the right field corner to give Witten, who was off on the pitch, plenty of time to score, and Houston ends up at third.
Hill now with a chance to get him an RBI here in the game. He's already got one on a double, and there's a ball that's hit fouled on the left side. Coach Benson Jordan gives a little stab at it.
He might have tried to catch that, but he's got 35 pounds of gear from Hooten that he took off all his body armor. Not to drink either.
Yeah. Houston Hooten looked like he was going to a jousting match. He had a lot of stuff on him, and he's holding it on to all of it over there now. We'll let him get away with that. Anytime you can hit a triple and 2 RBIs to boot here at Malvern, we'll let you wear a suit of armor if that's what you want. A ball and 1 strike to the Arkadelphia right fielder. That's Zane Hill. Zane's already got an RBI and a double back in the 4th. An inning later, he's getting another at bat with a chance for another RBI. And making another start out in right field is Zane Hill, and playing a pretty good position out there. There's a ball that's gotten around on just a little bit too much, a lot too much actually. It's going to get over around the batting cages off to the left side, so a ball and 2 strikes now.
He's fouled a couple of those off, and I think they were on breaking balls. See what the pitcher goes back here with. He's been high. If he goes to the outside, Zane's going to have a hard time pulling that.
And he goes down swinging in the inning. But Arkadelphia puts another crooked number up, 3 in the inning, 7 total in the game. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Arkadelphia leading here at Malvern, 7-0. You're listening to Mascot Media, Badger Baseball 2023.
Whether you realize it or not, you see the work of Bats and Signs all around Arkadelphia. When you see the Badger equipment trailer on the way to a Badger game, Bats and Signs did that. When you're watching the Badgers, Tigers, or Reddies and see the signage that just really makes their facilities pop, Bats and Signs did that too. You see the signage in downtown Arkadelphia, on the campuses of Ouachita and Henderson, or the sign in your neighbor's yard supporting a candidate or their favorite Badger? Yep, Batson Sign did that too. Longtime residents and supporters of all things Arkadelphia called Mark, Jared, Chris, or Ryan at Batson Signs today to see what they can do for you.
Back to Malvern. Chris Babb here with Blake Bell. Blake, before we get going here in the bottom of the fifth inning, I want to send out a condolences to the family of Bill Mayo. Bill was the longtime athletic director in the state of Arkansas. Most recently, he retired from Blytheville. And Bill moved down to Arkadelphia. He's the sister of Sandra Rogers and Blake Rogers and Vanessa, or Blake is his nephew. And Bill was when I was a young athletic director, and for many athletic directors in this state, Bill was a tremendous mentor and just a great figure for us to lean on and ask. Even after he was retired, he was well respected in that profession. They have the Arkansas High School Athletic Administrators Association has a Bill Mayo Award in honor of Bill, and so I just wanted to take this time. He died this past week, and I believe the service will be next Saturday. So just to kind of take a second there to recognize the life of a man who really championed the cause of high school athletics in the state of Arkansas and around our region, Bill Mayo.
Well, Arkansas has been full of folks like that, very giving of their time and their expertise, and he'll certainly be missed. We go to the bottom of the fifth, and back out for the inning on the mound is Trip Campbell, who's been a strikeout machine today, and Patrick Doss, the left fielder, ahead in the count. 2-0 before that pitch, and he swings right under a fastball from Campbell. 2 balls and a strike now. Tripp worked very efficiently. Only 10 strikeouts out of 12 total outs in the game. And he now takes the count to even with another strike on the outside corner. Doss watches that one go by.
Bill was also, he was active in the Lions Club in Arkadelphia, and he would ask me, come talk about athletics, or come talk about something going on, and to our group. Cooper Stevenson, that was a breaking ball that the bat broke just over the top of, and that foul tip caught Cooper Stevenson right there in the leg, and he's having to take a little bit to take a few seconds to breathe off of that one.
Yeah, that one got right in that tender part of the groin area, and it's not going to be it's going to be a few minutes before Cooper gets his wind back, and
we'll get him a bottle of water real quick. And
yeah, that was one of those that's going to make you want to. He wants this to be all over, and it's going to be a little bit longer than we thought. Well, the catcher's got a lot of gear, and it doesn't mean that every part of your body is protected. It is not a suit of armor. There's a lot of exposed areas, especially when it's a foul tip. That was a foul tip, and when the catcher's ready for that thing to come and it fouls just that micro inch, it can get around that big old catcher's mitt, and when it does, it hurts, and it hurts bad. And that ball coming in there hard from Trip Campbell, and he's going to get some attention not only from the Arkadelphia staff, but a very good show of sportsmanship from the staff of Malvern as well. They're going to come over and check on him, and still flat of his back, and I think he's going to be okay. Coach Lowe is having some fun with it. He's going to be okay, but that's one of those things that, boy, it makes you want to say a couple of bad words, Chris.
Yeah, Dad sitting there on the front row, right there watching it too. So a couple of smiles from Coach Lowe, a couple of breaths. Donovan Whitten come over and check on him, and
well, while we're catching the break, he's going to pop up here. While we're catching the break, I've got a question for the Malvern folks that are in the booth here. We talked about baseball today. We've talked about football in the air. Now we're going to talk about basketball. There was a basketball player from Malvern who actually won the NBA Slam Dunk Contest. Chris, don't say anything. Can either of you tell me a former Malvern Leopard who won the NBA Slam Dunk Contest?
Freddie
You are exactly right. Freddie Jones in 2004 for the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
He didn't play here, but he's from Malvern. He won it playing for the Indiana Pacers in 2004. Freddie Jones. Good. Hey, I tell you what.
You got to get him a hot dog now, too, don't you?
I'll give him a hot dog. I tell you what. If we end up winning this game, I'll give you a hot dog. If we don't, we're going to have to talk about it, okay? All right. Don't be so sure. This is Arkadelphia Malvern. Strange things happen in this series, and Cooper Stevenson is up on his feet and still bending over a little bit. Going to have a story to tell this afternoon. He's going to need a hot dog. He may need an ice pack too. So either way, we're going to see the young catcher. He's putting that gear back on, that helmet. He's going back to work. Tough character, getting some love here from the fans here at the Tiger Yard, or excuse me, at the Leopard Yard. So here we go. Taking a few warm-up pitches back is Trip Campbell. Trip's gone the entire way for Arkadelphia.
He told Coach Lowe, he said, kind of like Rocky, he said, I see 3 of them. Well, Cooper,
hit the one in the middle.
Catch the one in the middle.
Catch the one in the middle. Oh, that's exactly right. Okay, here we go. Patrick Doss back up, 2-2 count. Here's the pitch.
Oh,
and that one.
He dropped down on that one, too. Didn't quite have the snap. Trip kind of gives a little smile after that one, but didn't quite have the release point that he was looking for on that one.
Every once in a while, you just have to hit the bull, don't you?
That's right.
He hit the bull that time. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Looking over his glove, no runners on, and he spoils strike 3 with a shot over the Arkadelphia dugout foul.
Good to see Maddox Finley in that dugout, not able to play still, but been out for a couple of weeks, which forced a lot of the shifting of some of the positions, but good to see him back in that dugout.
Yeah, I talked to Maddox's mom before the game, and oh, man, there's a strikeout and another ugly pitch. Wow. That's strikeout number 11 for Campbell. I talked to Maddox's mom. She said that going to the doctor next week, hope to get some good results back and start some light work back into the rotation as early as hopefully late next week. So it'll be good to see Maddox back in the lineup. And Arkadelphia going to need him for the playoff run, and hopefully that happens here in just a few weeks.
You got a lot of work to do. You're a half game ahead of first place Tuesday. You lose, and then you're another nice bender from Tripp. But everybody's just kind of jumbled together. There's only a game and a half or whatever between first and fifth place, which means if you're on fifth place, that means you don't make the regional. So each game's important, and you can't afford to have. Arkadelphia has had a couple of just lapses in games that have just gotten away, and you can't afford any of those down these last because we're looking at last 2 weeks of the season now.
You're exactly right. We're a third series into the second half of the round robin. Arkadelphia swept the D-Queen series, and then they split the Magnolia series. And looking to split this series here. So far, so good. 7-0 here as we go to the bottom of the fifth. And working hard and doing a lot of striking out Malvern batters is left-hander Trip Campbell. There's one that's going to be hit to the shortstop. We'll see Donovan come up with it clean, fires across, and just in time. I tell you what, for a big guy, Jake Heathcott can get down that line, Chris.
He did. He got down the line, but it also wasn't a hard hit ball. It was not a quick. It took a while to get to Donovan. Got caught up in the grass a couple of spots, and Donovan kind of thought he had another little step. But that was a great job of getting down the line. That's why you get down the line hard. You never know what's going to happen.
That's exactly right. So the Badgers will take a lead of 7-0 into the sixth inning here from Malvern.
No, wait a minute. We got some saying that's – we had a strikeout from Doss.
I had a strikeout from Doss and a 6-3 from Heathcott, and that's the only 2 outs that I have. So I think it's just 2 outs.
That's the second batter of the inning. There's 2 outs.
Yeah. I thought I had missed one here. Hunter Robinson struck out looking to actually end.
The catcher went out for a minute, but that doesn't count for Malvern.
Well, we had that long delay there because of the injury to Stevenson, and Arkadelphia just figured that, hey, you hit your catcher that hard, that ought to be worth another out. I think Cooper
Now,
Stevenson would probably
he
agree.
said, "What, guys? You're going to make me come back out for another one?"
I think Cooper might have went to the bus.
Yeah, either that or he already jumped in that ice bucket. He's like, guys, it's just wrong.
Oh, as the old timers would say, bless him. Bless him.
Welcome back, youngster.
Welcome back, youngster.
Welcome back, youngster. There's another night breaking yourself in high school baseball. Oh.
Yep, yeah,
he'll never forget this game.
Nope, deep breath from him and Ben Rock, who's the 9-hole hitter. He grounded the second baseman last time up. And there's a half-witted swing at one of those big old nasty curveballs that comes up empty, and Tripp says, okay, one more, I'll just go back to work.
Coach Lowe's not afraid to call a curveball when it's working. Obviously, Tripp has had a lot of those tonight, mixed it in with some good speed. In the win at DeQueen when Carter Babb pitched, he threw 104 pitches, and Carter said after the game that 54 of those were curveballs. So he's not afraid to call them if it's working, and they're tough pitch to hit, and they have been today.
Well, he starts with a curve, goes back with the heat, comes with the heat a third time, goes up the ladder, has a pitch to burn. Rock does not go after it, so now a ball and 2 strikes. Quickly working is Campbell. Here's the pitch, swing, and a miss on another of those off-speed pitches. So all it is a chance for Tripp Campbell to get another strikeout in the inning, and he does it, the second of the inning, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 strikeouts in the game.
Not bad.
That's just not bad. That's just not too bad, young man.
You think of he had the 15 strikeouts against Magnolia in the no-hitter and 1 walk. He was 1 walk away from a perfect game. He had the win. He had one more big outing that against DeQueen the other night. He had the one hitter against DeQueen, and the only time that Tripp has not had the best outing was against Camden Fairview, and Arkadelphia was able to win that game. So Tripp has been stellar on the mound like you'd expected. 3 tremendous outings, and fought through one of those outings at not Camden Fairview. Was it Camden Fairview? Yeah, it's Camden Fairview. They all run together, but just another tremendous job to this point. Still 6 outs to get, but to this point, great job by Tripp Campbell on the mound again.
Not had a lot of trouble. He's had a couple of Malvern Leopards in scoring position. He's walked one. He's gave up a hit. Everything else has been either a strikeout. He did hit a batter back in the 3rd inning, so he's actually had 3 runners aboard, and that's all. 2 of those did reach scoring position. Nobody was able to get past second base, and so Arkadelphia is cruising so far 7-0, and Daniel Kesterson will lead things off, followed by Casey Pye, and then back up to the top with Carter Babb. So Carter not leading off an inning. That's something he's not used to today. He's done it 3 out of 5 innings so far, and we go to the 6th here, and it's Daniel Kesterson who'll get things started for Arkadelphia. He's got an RBI single. He did it back in the 4th inning, and the young left fielder is going to lead things off here in the 6th for the Badgers.
Looks like Ashton Cobb has a bat, and he's on deck as well, so he'll probably bat for Casey Pye and burn that DH for Arkadelphia, or Kesterson.
We talked about Kesterson having double-digit RBIs. That was 2nd on the team, and now he was tied for 2nd, and after that RBI he had back in the 4th, now he's got a dozen RBIs on the year, so not going to have a chance unless he hits it over the fence to have an RBI at this at-bat, but we'll see if he can get things started here in the 6th for the Arkadelphia. 1-0 the count. Swings at a curveball that he misses. The catcher misses. Everybody in the ballpark missed that one, but it's strike 1. We're glad you're joining us. We want to thank all of our sponsors. You hear them and see them during our commercial breaks. We want to thank all of them. There's a ball hit out into right field, and that thing's going to carry over the right fielder's head. It's extra bases for Kesterson. He's rounding 2nd. He's going to hold there with a stand-up double to start the inning. And once again, Chris, Arkadelphia with a very important leadoff base runner.
there's been leadoff base runners most of the night, most of the game, but they've also had several of those be extra bases. Extra base. Babb had the triple in the first inning. You have KD, I believe. I can't remember exactly who it was, but now Kesterson with another one, and now Ashton Cobb's going to come up to hit for. Ashton Cobb will come up and hit for Casey Pye.
Yeah, Hooten had a triple back in the fifth that scored a couple of runs. Cobb not had a lot of success at the plate. He has started a lot at second base, so we'll see if he's going to be able to pick up this RBI with nobody out. He takes strike one to start the at-bat. Tell you what, Daniel Kesterson turning into quite a offensive threat here for Arkadelphia. He started the year really hot, had a little bit of a lull. Now he's starting to come back on again. And that one's going to hit Cobb right in the middle of the back between the 2 and the 0. And with nobody out, Arkadelphia with runners at first and second, and back to Carter Babb we go, as he has been perfect on the day. He's 2 for 2 with a walk. And of those all 3 of those were leadoff in the inning, the first, third, and fifth. A triple in the first, a single in the third, a walk back in the fifth. Now with a couple of runners on, we'll see if he can move things around here for Arkadelphia.
Playing him to pull, which I would too after the first 2 hits, but he does like to go opposite field every once in a while. We saw a couple of opposite fields hits in the past, so if you could put one in the gap and get it to roll, Cobb and Kesterson could both score.
It's only 3:10 down the lines, and the sun is right in the face of the right fielder. And so the left-handed hitting Babb, if he could get around on it and pull it, the right fielder is actually fading really far over towards center, a lot further than I probably would on a pull hitter like Babb. And the pitcher knows that, and so he's not going to give Babb anything to be able to pull, at least early on in the count. It's 2 balls and a strike. That one sails way outside. We'll see if he comes in where Babb might be able to get the barrel around on it. Cobb's at first, Kesterson at second. Nobody out, a couple of Badgers on. There's a good move, and that should get him. It doesn't. The throw from the pitcher was to the left side of the bag, and if it had been on the bag, they'd have got Kesterson cold.
Yeah, it was just to the first base side of that second base bag. It was a good sneak in there by the second base. Kind of caught Kesterson sleeping a little bit, but he did get that foot back in there.
The shortstop doing most of the holding on of the second base runner. The second baseman normally playing in with the left-handed hitting Babb up there. He's going to stay in his position. Any type of holding the runner on is going to be done by the shortstop, and he's almost directly behind Kesterson after he takes his lead. 3 balls, 2 strikes now, and again, Babb, even though he's not leading off the inning, he's treating it like a leadoff hitter, and he's worked the count deep now full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, and it's fouled off. He fisted him and got that ball out of there. That would have, could have, should have been a strike, and Babb knows it. He didn't have it really in his wheelhouse to hit, but he was able to foul it off down the left side and stay alive for another chance. Shadows starting to get at least into the third base coach's box. Coach Benson Jordan over there giving the signs. There is ball 4, and it gets to the backstop, but no runners will advance home, just to second and third, and Babb draws a walk, and he is 2 for 2 with a couple of walks now for Arkadelphia. So KD had an RBI single back in the 5th. He walked in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd. He is 1 for 2. He now has an opportunity to put the Badgers into a lead that really could be, if they could get 3 of these runs across here and hold Malvern in the bottom of the 6th, it would actually be a sportsmanship rule in effect here in Malvern. And Malvern's
just like Magnolia the other night, when you have a chance to end the game early. Magnolia took those advantage. We talked about that on the broadcast the other night. You try to do what you can. Arkadelphia's in a good spot here with bases loaded, nobody out. You got your 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up in Young, Campbell, and Stevenson.
Yeah, it's not they call it the sportsmanship rule, but it's not about sportsmanship when you're playing the 7-4A conference baseball. It is about advancing to the next game with a win, and that's exactly what Arkadelphia is going to try to do here with the meat of the lineup up and the bases full of Badgers and nobody out here in the top of the 6th. Strike 1 to KD. He's looking all the way. KD doesn't have a lot of RBIs. He has scored a lot of runs. He's scored in double digits this year. He has 14 hits. He's hitting .350. And there is a ball that's curveball, and it's not just barely gotten enough of. Got out in front of it off the end of the bat and pulls it foul. 0-2 now to the third baseman. Campbell on deck. Boy, he'd love to come up with the bases loaded.
Another great job by Adams behind the plate, blocking that one and keeping that ball from going to the backstop.
Yeah, just, again, can't say enough about the Malvern catcher. He's done a great job here, and he's had to work with a couple of big, tall right-handed pitchers with high angles, and those curveballs coming in at those high angles from those tall pitchers are hard to deal with sometimes. Ball hit to third base. It's bobbled by Weaver at third, and everybody's safe. Arkadelphia scores a run, and that's an error on Dalen Weaver over at third base, and that's very uncharacteristic of Weaver. And to the Badgers' advantage, now it is a 8-0 lead with Trip Campbell aboard.
Weaver shaking his hand like he got that right hand down in the glove too early. The ball caught it and just kept him from fielding it cleanly, and everybody advanced.
Campbell RBI'd with a sacrifice to center in the first, flew out to center to end the inning in the third, singled in the fifth, and now he's back up here in the sixth with a big spot and a chance to blow this thing wide open with runners aboard for Arkadelphia at every base and nobody out. Stevenson on deck for Arkadelphia. He's been hot with the bat as of late, too. There's a shot to the shortstop. He's going to field it. Got one. He's going over for the relay. And
no.
And it is. He said it's in. He said he got him. That's a bad call by the field umpire. That's way, way late for the play. And he's not going to get any argument from Arkadelphia. But that was that was not even close at first base. And sometimes, I don't know what it is about field umpires, but it just makes you feel really good to ring somebody up, and every once in a while you just got to do it, safe or not, and we'll let him have his minute.
At the plate for Arkadelphia, the catcher, number 11, Cooper Stevenson.
That would have, you got. I think we got one more till I think it made it 9. So you got one more to get to that if Stevenson can get Carter Babb home.
Yeah, Babb's over at third base. It's 9-0. A 10th run, 90 feet away, and a hold and a no-score inning in the bottom of the 6th would end this thing. And Stevenson now is even in the count at a ball and a strike.
Nashville 13-1 over Magnolia tonight. So
holy smokes.
Magnolia
going to fall out of that race 5-3. They were in 4th place coming in, and that's going to really dig them in a hole as we go into this back half of the second round robin here in the 7-4A.
They
2 balls, 2
5
strikes.
4 now, I think, Magnolia.
Yep. Started today 5-3. A couple of teams are short a game.
Ashdown's short too. They're playing a doubleheader against Hope, I believe, next week. I believe that's right.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Stevenson. Dancing around at third is the runner. There's a shot from that is going to get down. Nice hit out to the 330 gap in left center field. That's going to be extra bases for Cooper Stevenson, and that is run number 10 for Arkadelphia. And Stevenson has recovered nicely from that little accident back in the last inning. And
he says, I do still want my courtesy runner.
And he does still want his courtesy runner. So Kelvin Middleton is going to come out, take the helmet from him, and he's going to be at second base. And a nice at-bat for Stevenson, and he needed that, as he's now had 2 doubles in the game, and he is 2 for 4 on the day. Donovan Witten now. He's singled, tripled. He's 2 for 3. Batted into a fielder's choice back in the 5th. And there's a poke out into right field, and that's going to get down fair territory. Middleton's going to round third and think twice as he goes back into third base. And nice call over there by Coach Jordan as he had him held up. And a nice play over there. I tell you what, Zamir Kauser is he's a very fleet of foot. That ball got into no man's land right in foul territory, about 15 feet into the grass.
That's when, as a courtesy runner, you got to know the circumstance and know that there's 2 outs and on contact you're running, and then you don't have to be held up at third base. 10-0 game, you're hoping that doesn't end up mattering. But, 1-0 game, that run matters, and so you just got to know the situation. Know that there's 2 outs. On contact, you got to be running.
That's exactly right. Hooten had a big triple last time up that scored a couple of runs. We'll see if he can add to that. Off and running is Witten. He's in to second. The throw was there. It's bobbled. Middleton takes advantage of it, scores from third. It's now 11-1 Arkadelphia. Another stolen base for Donovan Witten, and that's 6 on the year for Witten. And for a big guy, QB1's starting to run the bases pretty efficiently.
Well, it's just good to see him on the bases. Last year, we talked about that, and this year he's been a whole lot better at the plate than he was last year. It looks like over your shoulder, batting, 381, and he's had a couple of hits tonight. So just good to see Donovan, really since the beginning of the year, hit the ball well.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that if he gets it barreled up, it's liable to land in the next county. Hooten trying to take advantage of a nice at-bat last inning, following it up. Big cut there, ball and a strike to the Arkadelphia first baseman. Hooten and then Hill, and that would bat Arkadelphia around here in the inning. Fishing outside, a little bit of a cast motion there from Hooten, and he misses on an outside pitch. He's in the hole now, a ball and 2 strikes. Over at second base is Witten. He's getting a pretty good sized lead. And down goes Hooten, swinging. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, as he goes down for the 3rd out of the inning. But Arkadelphia has made this an opportunity for a sportsmanship rule. If they can hold Malvern to no more than 1 run in the inning, it's 11-0. We're going to take what may be our last break, 11-0 Arkadelphia here as we go to the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to Badger Baseball on Mascot Media.
Hello, I'm Taylor King. I've been practicing law for over 34 years, but long before that, I learned what it takes to be a good lawyer, caring for others. You could say it's a family trait, and it's one I've passed along to my kids. If you've been involved in an accident, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK. I want to help.
We want to help, to be on your side, by your side. I'm Austin King. Now, I've not been practicing law quite as long as my dad, but thanks to him, I know what it takes to be a good lawyer. I guess you could say it runs in the family.
Well, we're in the waning moments of what may be the end of this 7-4-8 contest between a couple of bitter rivals. Just 25 miles separates Arkadelphia and Malvern, and probably not very many victories separates them, as it's been a nice rivalry on the baseball diamond, the football field, the basketball court, the golf course, the volleyball. We got a game going on next door with softball, and Arkadelphia and Malvern go way, way back. And this is not something that you see a whole lot. It is a chance for Arkadelphia to tie up and split the round robin this year with the Leopards. Arkadelphia lost an early season game to Malvern at home. Trip Campbell has gone the entire way. He throws strike one, and it's that big old sweeping curve again. And he's ahead 0-1. Fastball, fouled away. Hunter Adams. He struck out, been hit by a pitch, his third time up in the game. And he's behind 0-2 to Campbell, who has been rolling. There's a swing and just a dinky foul right off to the right side to stay alive. Adams going to reach down and get a handful of dirt. He's played a tremendous defensive game behind the plate. You see a brace on that left knee, and it's not unusual for catchers this second half of the season to start getting some aches and pains. And there's a ball that's going to be lifted out into short center field, and it's going to fall into no man's land. Nobody can get there. Babb's a little short getting there, and into second base hustling is Hunter Adams. And nice work there by the Malvern catcher as he's going to get one to fall in. A little duck snort out there into short center field.
Yeah, just didn't look like Babb got a read on it at all or whatever. I don't know if he thought it was going to carry farther or whatever. He misread that one, and now you have a runner in scoring position with nobody out, and Tripp's going to have to work if you want to end this one early. Not what Arkadelphia needed there.
Weaver struck out twice. Starts off swinging here in this one, and he says, I'm not striking out a third time. He fouls that one off. He's late on it, and he fouls it off to the right side. Malvern does have a courtesy runner now over at second base, and that's Cedric Cook. Swung on, and again late is Weaver.
Did see a couple of ruts out there, and saying I don't know if he got stuck in a rut or he just didn't get a good jump off that one. It's just not usually what you see from there.
Looked like somebody done about a half a donut out there in center field, and it is this baseball field is almost shaped kind of like a football. It's way deep in center field, real short in the down the lines. And so as the center fielder goes, there's a ball that's going to get by, and that's close. Nice steal over there by Cedric Cook as the ball gets just far enough away from Stevenson to get him into scoring position at third now instead of second. So nobody out, a ball and 2 strikes to Weaver. Weaver just needs to put the ball in play, most likely to get that run across. And he cannot do it. He strikes out for the third time of the game. All 3 swinging, and Tyler Golden now, who's walked and struck out, as Malvern is potentially down to their last 2 outs. Thirteen strikeouts for Trip Campbell in this ball game.
Try to get Trip up here after the game to talk to you after this one.
Yeah, we'd like to talk to him. Birthday boy yesterday. Got to see his dad last night, enjoy some baseball, and even though the Badgers lost an out-of-conference game, they stepped up in class against Lake Hamilton. It's a good night for the Campbell family. Boy, that's a good-looking pitch right there. That one stayed up, Chris. It didn't drop it didn't drop down as much as it just came across, almost with a slider motion, and he's now 2-1 against Tyler Golden. Golden, a good hitter, veteran shortstop. That ball sails on him, and you can tell he pats his glove.
He's still amped up. He put a little bit more behind that one.
3 balls and 1 strike now to Golden, the shortstop. Walk, struck out. One of the few base runners. And there's going to be a dribbler, and is it going to get foul? And it does.
That was a smart play by KD to let that one. You're not going to get the runner anyway. Golden's fast, and the runner was going to score, so you just let that one bounce and hope it bounces foul, and it did by about 5 or 6 inches. Smart play by KD.
Yeah, KD, a veteran over there. He's got a lot of starts at third base. He sees that ball. He knows what this field's going to do. It does drop off. Drops off not only behind the plate, drops off behind the infield a lot. Also a little bit of a drop over there from right outside those first and third base lines. This is a built-up field. And there's a foul ball down the same side. That's down the left field side. And Golden got out in front of that just a little bit more than the time before. 1 out. Malvern has a runner at third base, trailing 11-1. They need 2 to stay in it. And that one's going to get by. We'll see if it's going to get the run home, and it does. Cedric Cook will score for the first Malvern run of the game. It's 11-1. Arkadelphia can't give up another, but they do walk Tyler Golden. That's going to be the first runner of the inning, or the first run of the game for Malvern. And it's going to draw a visit from Coach Lowe. We'll see if he's going to stay with his senior lefty or if he's going to give the ball to Witten. We'll be able to see here in just a minute. Witten usually starts pulling off that garb, and he's not started yet, so it may be.
I think they'll end up leaving Tripp. I see sent Judson Kuhn down to the bullpen to warm up. I think it was just kind of a trip out there to settle Tripp down, get him back, and forget the walk and try to get back in things.
Well, it's obviously been a great outing for Tripp Campbell, no matter what. 13 strikeouts on the day. He's only allowed a run on 2 hits. And more importantly, Chris, there's no errors for Arkadelphia today. That was a really sore spot early this week as Arkadelphia went to Magnolia and kind of let things get away from them down there, and a couple of errors mixed in there didn't help things. And today they played great behind Tripp and haven't really had a lot of opportunities to make mistakes because it hadn't put the bat on the ball much.
Yeah, the breaking ball, I mean, to say it's been working is an understatement. It's just looked really, really, really good. And, he came back with that one. I thought they called that one. I thought it was 1-1, but maybe it is 2-0.
Well, it's a ball and 2 strikes to Kyler Wright. Kyler struck out looking back in the first. He grounded back on a high chopper to Tripp. And now it's a transfer.
Yep.
Ball gets away from Cooper Stevenson, but it was a transfer. And it's occupied either way, but it was a transfer, drop, and a runner at first base. So now an out away is Arkadelphia and Tripp Campbell.
It was a good trip to the mound by Coach Lowe, just kind of settle him down, and Tripp kind of shook it off and bounced back with a nice pitches there to right.
Evan Stewart now, he struck out twice, both times swinging, once in the second, once in the fourth. And he represents what might be the last out of the ball game for Malvern, trailing 11-1, bottom of the 6th. They need another run to stay alive and take it to the 7th. Campbell from the belt, swinging shot to third, and it's going to be a seeing eye single between third and short. And now with 2 runners aboard, our Malvern still alive with a single here and a walk. A couple of runners at first and second now. Hunter Robinson now, he singled to center field. He was the first hit of the ball game back in the second inning. Struck out looking in the fourth. Robinson took over the pitching duties back in the 4th inning, following up Kyler Wright. Wright didn't do a bad job. He only gave up 1 run through the first 3 innings to Arkadelphia. Since then, the Badgers have put crooked numbers on the board in the 4th, 5th, and 6th inning. And there's a pitch just outside. Boy, that was close. Tripp battling here in the inning with a couple of runners on. Needs just 1 out. He's 2-0 to the batter, Robinson. There's that curveball. He's still got that snap on it.
You know, where that umpire's standing, he's going to be tougher to get that call. I mean, that might have been a tad bit inside, but he's standing right there. It's coming right at him. It's kind of messes up his perspective every once in a while.
Well, he reaches back and gets another handful of grease on that pitch as he gets it by him for 2 balls and 2 strikes now, and the Leopards down to their final strike. It's been a gorgeous afternoon here in Malvern. Newly renovated Leopard Yard is a nice, very nice venue for a ball game, and Arkadelphia.
That inside pitch, I thought it. Yeah, I thought if he stays in there, you might have bases loaded and you get Campbell out of the game.
Strike 3. He can run. The ball is dropped. It's tossed down from Cooper Stevenson to Houston Hooten for the 3rd out of the inning, and that's the ball game. 11-1 is the final score. We're going to hang around a little bit. We're going to talk to, hopefully we're going to get a chance to talk to Tripp Campbell, and we're going to see what lies ahead for Arkadelphia as we finish out the rest of this week and head to next week. Arkadelphia, like we said, is going to be back at home on Tuesday. They get a chance for retribution for a second time in as many games as Ashdown was able to better the Badgers on the road down in Ashdown. We'll see if Arkadelphia can pull it out here. Here's the thing. Here's the bottom line on Tripp Campbell. He finishes the game with 14 strikeouts. He gave up 1 run on 3 hits, and that was all for Tripp Campbell as he is able to take care of the Malvern Leopards here and even the series, the season series at a game apiece. And Arkadelphia will enjoy a weekend after a couple of losses earlier in the week, one at Magnolia and then at home against the Lake Hamilton Wolves. So we're going to take a break here. We'll be back in just a few minutes from Malvern. We want to take I tell you what, we'll just keep it here while we wait on Tripp to come up and visit with us. We want to thank all of our sponsors. We appreciate them, and of course Southwest Auto coming out last week and helping us out with our celebration of the 2013 10-year anniversary of Arkadelphia winning its first state championship in 4A. Southwest Auto, always a great job in sponsoring the Arkadelphia Badger Foundation and all of Badger Athletics. We want to really thank them. We want to thank our field sponsor, that's Southern Bancorp. We want to thank Bats and Signs. Just like the commercial says, if you see a sign in Arkadelphia, Bats and Signs probably did that. We want to thank our Raymond James, and that is Bell Wealth Services. We want to thank them as far as also Print Mania. Print Mania, a great job, and we want to thank them for helping take care of Badger baseball this year. Anyone that has helped out, we know that Southern Farm Bureau has been a big help. Welch Funeral Home has been a big help. Chad Kesterson and his shelter insurance agent has been a great sponsor for us. State Farm has been a great job with Austin and Roger Wingfield this year. We want to really thank them. We want to thank everyone from Sheffield Music. They do a great job for us in coming and taking care of some of our extracurricular activities. The city of Arkadelphia always makes our ballpark one of the show places of the 7-4A and taking care of things. So we want to thank our friends at the Arkadelphia Parks and Recreation in the city of Arkadelphia. Arkadelphia Baseball Commission, they do a great job. We're going to recognize a couple of those young teams in the coming weeks. We're going to recognize one here next week as Arkadelphia and Ashdown are going to play. We're going to recognize some of those young future Badgers as they're coming up. We're going to get those guys in here and let them take the field with Arkadelphia and enjoy of what might be coming in the years to come with those guys. So we want to thank all of our listeners. We want to thank everyone for being a supporter of Arkadelphia Badger Athletics, OBU, and Ouachita Baptist University. Of course, Chris Babb does the producing for all of our shows here. He and Ouachita Baptist have been kind enough to allow us to use the streaming equipment so that we can bring you Badger Athletics. Not only Badger Athletics, but Arkadelphia programs. We're bringing you some Christmas programs from from some of the younger schools, quiz bowl tournaments, things like that. We're going to try to continue to do that as much as possible. Trip Campbell's going to be making his way up here in just a few minutes, so if you guys will hang around just a few more minutes, we're going to bring our star of the game up here, and that is going to be Trip Campbell. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. You're listening to Badger Baseball on Mascot Media.
Make Print Mania in downtown Arkadelphia your place to get embroidery, screen printing, trophies, and more. Drop by their store on Main Street in downtown Arkadelphia or visit their website at printmaniatees.com to see how they can help your business or group. Need a shirt for an event? Let Print Mania take care of that. Need promotional materials for your business or organization? You can let Print Mania take care of that too. A family-run local business in Arkadelphia, Print Mania has been serving the public since 1992. Call Print Mania today, 870-246-3803.
Was your birthday, Trip?
Yes, sir.
Did you ask for anything? Put that mic up there a little closer so we can hear you. Did you ask for this for as part of your birthday, or what was your birthday wishes? We got to know.
Well, the only birthday wish for me was a win for today for sure, but I asked for a fishing pole.
A fishing pole?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, you had some fishing poles in that other dugout. They did a lot of fishing, a lot of casting for that big nasty breaking pitch you had. Talk about, we're going into the second half. We're well deep into the second half of the season. You've had a win streak of 4 wins and then a couple of losses. You come back with a big win. You tie up the season series with a big rival in Malvern. What's it going to take for you guys to finish strong this year and get back in the playoffs?
For us, I think it's just hitting the ball and not making many errors. We start to tend to do that whenever our leadership on our baseball team, we start to do like errors and everything. So if we stop the errors and keep hitting the ball, then I think we're going to be pretty good.
Last night, Arkadelphia played out of conference. We played up in class against Lake Hamilton. One of these days we're going to figure out how to beat those guys. But it was your birthday. You had a big night. You hit a home run. Your dad was there. A lot of your family was there.
Yes,
what
sir.
did that mean to you? Even though we lost the game, and I know you're a team player, what did it mean for you to have a big night like that in front of Dad and your rest of your family?
Yeah, I'm really glad that Dad got to come out there and support us. He loves baseball. He loves it. And I'm telling you, after I hit that ball, I pointed out there, made sure he was watching me. So I'm glad they got that ball because that was for him.
Well, I know he's your biggest fan, and you know, one of the reasons that we're so proud of the relationship that we have with Ouachita Baptist is that we get to bring this to guys like your dad. We got to bring it to folks like Carter Babb's granddad when he was ill, and all the folks that just can't get out. You're going to go play baseball next year, and there's some other guys on this team that are going to have futures. Donovan's going to be going and playing some football, but most of these guys, this is the last time they'll ever get to play baseball. You watched a group of seniors last year that made it a long way. As a senior, what does it make? What does playing for Arkadelphia mean to you? Even though you're going to the next level, what does it mean to you to represent and wear that blue jersey?
It means everything. You know, I've been a Badger all my life, and I've loved this school for so long. You know, but I'm for sure gonna miss it. You know, just playing here just means the world. I'm glad I'm able to play this sport and play with this team because I love every single one of them.
Well, I know that, you know, we were looking for team leaders when this year started. You know, we knew that last year's leadership was gone. A lot of those guys, you guys were leaders last year. Even though you weren't seniors, you were leaders last year. And this year it just turned into, you know, another level of leadership. So you've got a lot of young guys that are starting to play. We saw Casey Pye getting a couple of starts. We've seen guys like Cooper Stevenson that have gotten some starts. Houston Hooten. We've seen some guys out there that are, you know, even though they may not be starting the running bases, are getting some pinch hits. What do you want to leave as a lasting impression on those young guys after you're gone that they need to remember first and foremost about being an Arkadelphia Badger?
Well, first and foremost, you try hard 100% of the time. You know, you can't just go out there and lollygag, you know. You have to go out there, play your hardest, and try and get that win.
Yeah. Well, you guys have got a tough test. Tuesday, we go back home. We face the only other team that beat you in the first half of the season, and that was the Ashdown Panthers. You think you're going to get to pitch? Whoever's going to pitch, we don't really know. What's it going to take to beat Ashdown? They're a good team.
I think hitting, for sure.
Okay.
We have the pitching. We have I'm thinking Carter might start that game, but if we hit the ball and we don't have any errors, I think we have a pretty good chance.
Well, as long as you're wearing that Badger blue, we know you got a good chance. Number 12, happy late birthday. Great
Yes,
job,
sir. Thank
young
you.
man. Thank you. Our player of the
Thank
game.
you.
Our player of the game is none other than Trip Campbell.
Love you, Dad.
Yeah. Thanks, Trip.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the Arkadelphia Badgers, 11-1 win here at Malvern. You couldn't come at a better place. Nice new ballpark. Nice win for Arkadelphia to finish out the week. We're going to be back at home Tuesday night against Ashdown. Big game for Arkadelphia. We're going to try to bring you at least the video of that. If you're in town, come on out. Badger's going to need your help. For Chris Babb, this is Blake Bell signing off here from the Leopard Yard in Malvern. 11-1 Arkadelphia wins. So long, everyone. Have a great weekend.